conversations about digital rails that will power India's next phase of B2B commerce, especially for MSMEs. It's my privilege to invite our leader, who's at the forefront of building this trusted BPI, Ms. Nupur Chaturvedi, MD and CEO of NPCI Bharat BillPay Limited. Thank you.
And thank you for joining us today as we start our conversations on B2B payments, starting from the land of trade, which is Gujarat. So what you saw as a video just now was a video that was played at the Global FinTech Festival in front of the RBI Governor when we launched this platform for the first time. Before I move forward, I just wanted to probably talk a little more about my organization. All of you have been using UPI, I'm sure. I'm sure you've heard about RuPay cards and your cards have a FASTag. All these digital payment systems have been created by National Payment Corporation of India. NPCI has multiple subsidiaries which focus on different businesses for them. One of them is NPCI Bharat BillPay Limited, which is the company that I have the honor and privilege of leading. Now, if you have ever used Paytm, PhonePe, Google Pay for paying your electricity bill payments, then that transaction has necessarily been routed through our systems at NBBL. When we started thinking about what more to do and what are the problems where no one has started finding a solution, that is the time we came up with the idea of simplifying the bill payments for businesses. So, having seen the success of UPI and a system that all of us are very proud about, we know that UPI has changed the way in which you as a customer make payments to merchants, whether they are large merchants or small kirana stores or even thelawalas at this point of time. The same ambition, the same problem we want to solve for payments that have happened between businesses. That is a problem that has not been solved in the past, whether you talk about India or you talk about the world. This problem is ripe for disruption, and therefore we picked up this idea to convert it into bill payment for businesses. And that is the platform that I want to talk about a little more today. This platform has been built to cater to the 6.3 crore businesses in the country, whether they are large businesses like Raymond, Irwin, so on and so forth, or small businesses like the kirana stores next to your house. So it is built for population scale. It is also interoperable and neutral. So the transaction data that flows between the businesses is not used or seen by us. We want to become one of the world's biggest and most comprehensive business-to-business payment system. We want to allow for businesses to exchange money with each other, but also support businesses making government payments, be it for licenses or excise or taxes or others. Now, coming back to why we started doing these media interactions in Gujarat. We all know that Gujarat is one of the biggest states for businesses across trading, manufacturing, and caters to multiple categories that include textiles, chemicals, jewelry, so on and so forth. Out of the 6.3 crore MSMEs that are there in the country, 42 lakh MSMEs are registered on the Udyam portal out of Gujarat alone. Also, Gujarat is the largest informal MSME base because of the entire supply chain being created out of this state. It is interesting to note that Gujarat has multiple clusters of different industries. So where we have engineering and auto parts in Rajkot, in Ahmedabad we have the biggest trading community. In Surat there is a hub for textile, and Vadodara supports a lot of chemical and other auto ancillary and other manufacturing related to chemicals. These interoperable or clusters are very ripe to enable business-to-business payments which are seamless. The supply chains, which are very specific and peculiar to the clusters of Gujarat, have a very high frequency of invoice exchange. Let me give you an example where a textile trader will source a lot of cloth from multiple units in Surat, and then he has to send that cloth either to Karnataka or Calcutta for further processing. This requires a lot of invoice exchange that happens in this supply chain alone. Business accretive activities so that the same businessman can spend that time enhancing, expanding his business needs. Therefore, from everything that you've seen so far, the benefits are obvious, but even then, let me just talk about the 5 major benefits that get accrued. That includes a single point of integration. The businessman or his chartered accountant or his muneem does not have to move between multiple systems to figure out what is happening. The invoice delivery is real time, the payment acknowledgement is real time, so there's no wastage of time. Also, you don't have to continuously call or send messages saying, when are you sending me the money, when is the credit coming in. Instead, the system allows for automated reminders which can be sent out. Credit, I talked in detail about that. At an invoice level, credit becomes available and the collection of payment becomes seamless. Therefore, these are the inefficiencies in the system that we want to impact through Bharat Connect for Business. Specifically, we want to ensure that the businesses are able to move their money or churn their money faster. The velocity of money increases, and then it eventually impacts the GDP of the country. And that is the final goal or the North Star that we are working towards. The macro impact includes the ease of doing business for larger businesses as well as smaller businesses. We also are integrating with GEM portal, with GST systems, with the customs system, so on and so forth, so that everything that the business requires can happen out of a single interface, whether it is Tally, Zoho or any other interface. And we also want to contribute by freeing up time and increasing the velocity of money to ensure that there is more formalization and availability of credit for businesses. So this is where we stand today. Today on our system, These ERPs, these banks are already live. We partnered and launched the Tally partnership a few months back, and in these few months we already have more than 5,000 businesses which have onboarded onto this system, saying that we want the services that the platform offers. At this point of time, we have more than 10,000 businesses which are already operating on our systems and using the system for invoice exchange with their buyer or supplier, and also reconciliation of payments. We also have Zoho, M-Swipe, eSbuzz and Open. These are fintech platforms that service different sizes of SMEs, and they have already integrated with our platform. On the bank side, the bigger banks, which is HDFC, Axis and SBI and Yes Bank, they cover more than 50% of the business accounts in the country, and they are all integrated with our system. And outside of that, we have very niche service providers like Wangi and Wings, which are also on our system. In the last quarter alone, our system saw 2 million invoices being exchanged between buyers and suppliers. And this number has been growing at a very rapid rate month on month.
It was very interesting.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, can I request you to share your name and introduce yourself,
Sure.
please?
I'm Rafat Kadri. I'm editor of Bilkul Bazaar.
Right.
It's an English portal.
Sure.
My question is this looks very convenient method, but when you started developing it, did you take the feedback from MSMEs, and what was it like? And what are the loopholes? What are the areas where you still want to work on? And what is the scenario, current scenario with the MSMEs, especially Gujarat related?
Sure. Rafat ma'am, thanks for asking the question and liking the presentation. You actually touched upon a question very close to my heart. Over the last 3 years, we as NBBL have created 2 systems. One of them being what you saw just now, Bharat Connect for Business. And both the systems have been created directly in partnership with the entire ecosystem. So even when we first started thinking about the system, we involved the banks, the ERPs and some real businesses. We brought them into a room like this and everyone was participating and writing on whiteboard saying, these are the problems I saw, I faced, and we need your help in solving it. So indeed, throughout the journey of creation of this platform, which took 18 months, we keep going back to the ecosystem, getting their feedback and improvising. And I will give you a very simple example of that feedback loop. Is when we started, we said invoice will be our primary mode of exchange, but we went to MSMEs and they said, PO ka kya hoga, right? So we introduced PO in our platform a few quarters back, basis the input received from them. The work we are doing, the GM portal, GST, etc., is also as a result of inputs received from the market. So we are continuously taking that feedback. Now, what is my primary objective about this meeting and probably the primary challenge we are facing is the awareness issue, right? So B2B sales is different, right? B2B2B becomes so much more difficult. So while we have very good partnerships in Zoho, Tally and others who are talking to their businesses one by one and bringing them on board, but we want to create a mass scale awareness so that more businesses know about the platform and are able to join us.
Great.
Thank you. Please.